Hey everyone, sorry it's been a while since my last Reckoning video. I finally finished the absurdly long project, the top 25 freakouts of the year that I was working on for my main channel, so I can get back to work on this crazy backlog of stories I've been piling up for this one. Today I'd like to introduce you to a case involving a woman who was caught on camera in a viral TikTok video in mid-September of this year. She approaches the man recording, a construction worker named Luis Cervantes, after he catches her trespassing inside the unfinished apartment complex that he's working on. But the trespassing was not, as you might have guessed, the reason so many people wanted her punished. As always, I obviously do not condone a word of what this woman says.
Excuse me, miss. You know that you are in private property?
Excuse me?
You are in private property.
I work for the police, so that's okay.
That's fine. You are in private property.
You know what? I'm trying to find out if this is private property.
Yeah, you are in private property.
You're working here. You're not based out of here. Is that correct? Because I was going to say that you have
You are in private property.
That's fine. Okay. And I reported you already.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I have the right to find out who my neighbors are because I live here. You don't.
Okay, but you don't have the permit to come into a private property.
Oh, arrest me.
Huh? Okay, I can
I
call the
live
police.
here. I'm American. You're a Tijuanan.
Thank you for being racist. Thank you.
I am very, very much against people who break our laws.
So, to give you a proper timeline here, because a whole lot happens very quickly, this video was posted on September 16th to the construction worker Cervantes' TikTok account. It's still up and remains the only video he's ever posted. In the comments, you'll notice countless angry users tagging the Karen hunters, as I like to call them, Tizzy Ent and Dinesh. I am, notably, not a Karen hunter. I'm just doing this because I love internet drama. Anyway, Tizzy and Dinesh did make videos about this lady, but they really weren't the ones who made things happen in this case. It was actually another one of these activist Karen hunters, a lesser known guy we've actually mentioned here on the channel before, named Alex Enamorado, who really moved the mountain this time. In a video posted to Enamorado's own TikTok the very next day, Sunday, September 17th, he identifies the woman as one Jean Umana, a 74-year-old former UCSB professor and lecturer. But he didn't just identify her, he also posted a video of himself calling and interviewing this woman.
Just letting you know this is on a recording line.
Parked it there with flashers on, and I went up to him and said, "Why are you parked here? This is not legal to park in the middle of the street."
Can I ask you a question, ma'am? Is it legal to impersonate a police officer? That's what's in the video. You said you work with the police.
I said I worked with the police. I didn't say that I was one.
Yeah, but you said you work with the police, like currently. That's impersonating an officer. And you also
that doesn't mean I impersonated a police officer.
You also walked in. You also walked in the property inside the house.
The reason I walked into the property was because I thought it was for location.
But that's breaking and entering, man.
No, it is not, sir. I was looking for
But for you to say that this is not Tijuana,
do you want my answer?
I understand, but for you to say, no, I heard it. But for you to say that this is not Tijuana, you sound like it's bigotry. You're spewing bigotry. You're saying, like, doesn't it sound like you're spewing bigotry when you say this is not Tijuana?
The reason that I went on the property was because I was looking for St. George Construction Headquarters, because their trucks were out there. I thought that was the headquarters. I was looking for the owner or the manager so I could register my concerns about these people breaking the law.
If I understand her correctly here, she's saying that she believed the unfinished apartment complex that was being built next door was the headquarters of this entire company.
This gentleman breaking the law.
But isn't breaking and entering breaking the law, ma'am? And also, can someone walk into your house?
Break and enter. All right, sir. You're already accusing me of something, and you weren't there.
I mean, I seen the video. I seen the video, and if you were a professor, I can see that you were failing Mexicans because you are a racist.
I didn't say anything about Mexicans.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And we are going to investigate all the students that you were failing that were predominantly Mexican at UCSB.
You know what? You have a bias already.
No, because if you see the video, you are spewing bigotry. You targeted Mexican construction workers. Okay, you targeted. Okay, so where do you work now?
Sir, I'm not answering any further questions. I don't know who you are. What do you work for? What newspaper?
Well, my name's Alex Enamorado. You're gonna find out who the f I am.
You're gonna find out who the f I am. This Alex guy isn't playing around. Okay, so this Alex guy may have a penchant for drama, but after speaking with her, he must have determined from the conversation that she was, in fact, the Karen he suspected her to be, because he included something in the description of the video that would have huge ramifications. Join us tonight, 8 p.m., Garden Street and Micheltorena Street, Santa Barbara. And join him they did. By 8 p.m. that same Sunday night, more than 250 people had descended on the city block where Umana lived, and where the fateful confrontation had just taken place. This was a protest, sure, but it was also sort of an impromptu festival. This was a car show portion. They also had some fireworks. And of course, some chants.
I say who shut it down, you say we shut it down. Who shut it down? We shut it down. Who shut it down?
And this all went on for hours. But all of this aside, the real golden footage from that night is a video of Enamorado himself finding Umana getting out of her car on the street and going up to confront her in person.
Hello, Gino Mana. You racist bigot. You thought you were going to get away with that one, huh? You're coming straight to the cops where you're going to get arrested. You know why? Because you impersonated an officer.
No, I didn't.
And you assaulted a construction worker today. We have it on video. So you know what? You're gonna go straight ahead because you're the one calling the cops, and you're the one that's gonna end up getting charges. Okay. Because you are going to get charged with a hate crime.
And I'm going to your place of work tomorrow.
Go ahead.
St. George Construction, and tell them that you were speeding.
First of all,
and that you were.
You're assuming I'm a construction worker. That shows how racist you are.
No, you work in the construction company.
I don't work for a construction company.
Well, then what were you doing driving
I'm Alex Enamorado. I'm Alex Enamorado.
Okay.
I'm an activist, and I'm here.
Okay.
Calling you out.
Good for you.
Yes. So go ahead. Let's go ahead. Because you're going to get charged with assault. You're going to get charged for a hate crime. You're going to get charged for breaking and entering, okay? And for impersonating an officer. That's 4.
I didn't impersonate an officer.
Yes, you did. You said...
I said I worked with them, not
no, you
for
didn't.
them.
You said 4.
Do you have it?
Yes, we have the video. Trust me.
I work for the police, so that's okay.
That's fine.
I work for the police. So.
You said I work for the police. You did not say I work with the police, specifically.
Alex, you know, years ago I was the most popular professor at UCSB.
And you probably failed a lot of Mexicans.
I was an advocate.
And you probably failed a lot of Mexicans.
No,
yeah,
you did. I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't fail anybody.
Yes, you did. You know what?
You don't even know when I worked there.
What you said today, that you called this man a Tijuanan, what did you say? You sound like a racist prick.
The harassment that I've received.
The indigenous worker that you assaulted, he's from this continent.
Alex, will it
Turtle
put an
Island.
end to this if I apologize?
I mean, look, you are still going to get hit with the charges. You're going to get hit with assault, hate crime,
I didn't assault
breaking
him.
and entering.
I hit his phone.
You can't do that's assault. You know how many people have gotten arrested? You violated the Bain Act. You know what that is?
No.
You violated his First Amendment right to record, okay? So there's a lot of charges. I mean, rack them up, and you're here. You're basically turning yourself in.
Alex, I'm sorry that it got out of hand. And I was the greatest advocate for anybody who needed help.
If you were, you would have never done what you did today.
All right, I apologize.
No, it's
as simple
not.
as
And
that.
we're going to let all your neighbors know today what kind of person
I know you're
you
having
are.
a protest.
Because a lot of people are going to come out, and I'm
There's
pretty
a
sure that they're going to
protest.
have a lot of complaints.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. But
What
you're
you did,
harassing me.
What you did? No, it's not.
Yes,
no, it's
you
not.
are, sir.
No, it's not. You know what harassment
What do you
is?
call all this?
Harassment is if I'm
What do you call these
discriminating you.
pho-
Hold
All
on.
right, do you want me to
Harassment is
show
if
you
I'm
the text
discriminating
messages?
you
All right,
by
you
your
know what?
religion.
Alex,
Uh-huh.
I applaud what you're doing because you're advocating for people you love and you're proud of them and you're educated. I can tell. I applaud what you're doing. Okay?
Sounds very
But I'm going to stay up there where they told me to come.
Yeah, go ahead. Turn yourself in.
I'm not turning myself in.
Yes, you are.
Oh, really?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Go ahead. No one's stopping you. No one's stopping you.
Who do you work for?
No one's stopping you.
Who do you work
No one's
for?
stopping you.
Who do you work for?
No one's stopping you.
Whom do you work for? You're not a journalist.
Hmm?
You're not a journalist.
You can
'Cause I
find
was
out.
a journalist.
You can find out. It's all public information. You'll find out.
Okay, what is your name?
Huh?
What's your name? What is
You're
your
working
name?
for
And
the
I'll look
cops
you up.
again? You're working for the police again?
What is your name? And I'll look
I don't
you
have
up.
to give you any information.
Oh, now you're on
not
the
a police.
defensive.
No, I'm
How
not
does
being
it feel?
defensive. I'm not.
You don't want to identify
not.
yourself.
I mean, I don't have to. You're not a cop.
You know what? I was a
I don't even
mediator.
have to
I was
identify
a
myself
mediator.
to a cop.
I should know better how to deal with this situation.
I know.
I'm ashamed that I don't deal with this situation better.
Mm-hmm.
But at my age, you get frustrated. And you get really worn down by a lot of what's going on around you that you can't affect. When people deliberately break the rules, it frustrates me.
I assure you,
Particularly when
you broke the
children
rules.
are at stake. A child or an elderly person
Mm-hmm.
could be walking across that street. And if someone is barreling down the street at 45 miles an hour in a 25-mile zone, that's dangerous.
But why involve racism? Why say that he's not from
I
this
didn't-
country? You say you're American? You think you're more American
No,
than
what
him?
I said, I
He is
believe
from
what
this
I
country.
said
He is
was,
indigenous to this
this is
continent.
not Tijuana, this is not Sinaloa, this is America, and we have laws.
You live in Santa Barbara, which is a Spanish name. You know this used to be Mexico
I
too,
understand
right?
the history of Santa Barbara. I've written many
Santa
articles
Barbara.
about it.
Say it right, because it's a Spanish name.
I'll say
and
Santa
And
Barbara.
another thing is this. If you go back into history, your ancestors were in Europe, while the construction worker that you assaulted today, his ancestors were here in this continent for thousands of years prior to white settlers coming in here. Plain and simple. You know, and for someone that supposedly is as educated as you are, you definitely dropped the ball. And
I
it
did.
shows, and it
Absolutely.
shows, and it shows.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you failed Mexicans in your
Honey,
Yes,
I
you
didn't
did.
fail anybody in my courses.
Say
If
it.
you knew anything about me, you'd know
Okay.
that I was the greatest student advocate for my department.
Doesn't
I
seem
have
like it.
testimonies to that
Doesn't
effect.
seem like it.
It was 20 years ago. My husband died since then. My father and my mother both died since then. My life has changed. I became a caregiver. I had to give up the possibility of getting tenure.
You know,
at
let me tell you
UCC.
something.
You know what? I don't want to be taped, and you're taping me.
I have every legal right to tape you.
I know,
We're
and
on
I
public
don't want to be
property.
taped, so I'm going to go in my car. If you want to have a discussion, turn off the phone.
We already had it. We're here because you know what? The construction worker that you assaulted today is going to press charges, and we are going to sue you. Just letting you know.
You're going to sue nothing. I have nothing.
Oh, trust me, I've done this before. We've done this before. Daniel J. McGuire, ask about him. He was sued for a hate crime and restraining orders. You will get hit with a restraining order too because you assaulted him and you not only trespassed, but it was breaking and entering. That's what it was.
In order to break and enter, you have to break something to enter.
I mean, how did you get in there?
Nothing.
How did you get in there?
I was looking
How
for
did you get in there?
St. George
Would you allow,
construction.
if your door is open from
I
your home,
thought
would you allow
that-
someone to walk in there?
I thought that was the construction.
You realize that
headquarters.
so you're saying if your
I'm not
door is
gonna
open,
continue any
well,
further
answer
with
the
this.
question. If your door is open, does that allow anyone to go in there? Exactly.
Quick question though. Have you seen the video? Do you want to see it?
Yeah, show her the video.
Do you want to see it?
Show her the video.
So this all happened on Sunday night, and by Monday morning, major news stations were running with the story. The protest, as Inamorata had doubtlessly hoped, caused quite a ruckus, but it also did something he probably hoped for more. It evoked a response from the Santa Barbara Police Department. In a statement, the SBPD seemed to support the protests and also reported that they were looking into the situation, but had not yet decided to file any charges. That very same Monday, Umana was also featured in an interview with the LA Times, where she addresses not only the video and the claims that she was a racist, but also the protests that had flooded her neighborhood the previous night. Umana told the LA Times that the incident began when she noticed a construction truck speeding down her residential street and parked illegally in the middle of the road. She said she approached the property where Cervantes worked to report the incident to a manager, not realizing it was an active construction site, which, gotta say, is completely absurd if you look back at what everything looked like. It was the most obvious construction site ever. She went on to say, "And then when someone put the camera in my face, I think that's when I lost my judgment. My judgment went very, very badly. I am truly sorry that this got out of hand, and I regret making statements like that because I said them in the heat of the moment. They were not measured, and whatever I might feel, I don't have the right to take it out on anybody else. But unfortunately, I lost control." She then goes on to say, and you'll notice this is pretty much the same thing she told Enamorado in the confrontation we just watched, that she applauded him for his activism, even though she wanted the tumult of the weekend to pass. She said, "He was advocating for people that were important to him. I applaud that because, as a professor, I even taught my students how to demonstrate. I want to enable people and empower people to feel that they have the right to protest, but this has become ugly and vile and hateful." So at this point, it was just Monday. 2 days later, on Wednesday, the Santa Barbara Police Department released a new statement in which they stated that they were referring the case to the Santa Barbara District Attorney's Office and recommending charges for trespassing, battery, and committing a hate crime. And looking back at the original clip, it does seem pretty straightforward that she did both commit trespassing here, when she entered someone else's private property without their permission, and battery here, when she smacked the camera in his hand during the confrontation, despite his own total lack of physical aggression towards her. And it's at this point that the dust has settled a bit, and things seem to be trending toward no charges from the DA for Umana. Some internet users even speculated that perhaps Umana was just having a bad day and didn't really have the deeply held animosity towards Latinos or Hispanics that she was being accused of having. And then the second video dropped. On Monday, October 16th, the 1-month anniversary of the original video being posted, actually, Enamorado posted another video of Jean Umana. This time, however, she was attacking a street vendor, again accusing him of being an illegal immigrant. The video is arguably even worse than the first one.
Okay, call the police.
Is the problem? What? No, come on.
You're illegal.
But why your problem?
Because you're selling food that is going to make people sick.
But it's your house. No.
It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the city is arresting people doing it now, and they want you out. They don't want you here.
Yeah,
they don't want you selling
problem?
this. Because I work for the police department. I do public relations.
Very important here to catch this, but she said, "I work for the police department, not I work with the police department."
So do you want me to call the police and bring them here?
No.
I already called them. They'll be here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, bro.
Take your food,
Yeah,
put
that
it
in the
on the
police.
truck and get rid of it.
What?
Because you're a crook. You're an illegal crook.
Okay,
you know
let's
what crook
go.
is?
Come
I
on.
thought you didn't speak English.
Come on.
You don't speak English
Bye,
because
bye,
you're
bye,
a liar
bye,
and a
bye,
crook.
Bye. Go, bye.
Put your things
Bye.
on the truck.
Bye.
Put your things on the
Yeah,
truck.
why you problem? Come
I'm
on.
waiting for you. The police will be here. I'll wait for the police.
Yeah, they got the police. Yeah, the police.
The police?
Me and the
Yeah, I called them.
Many people believed the video was yet newer proof of her being racist, and some pointed out that to go do this same thing again after the backlash of the first incident probably made her certifiably insane to boot. But according to Umana, which, take it with a grain of salt, this video actually happened in August, a month before the second incident, which, let's be real, still isn't much better. Yet it would mean she didn't learn nothing, I guess, from and then blatantly ignore the massive backlash she just faced for a very similar incident. But it also means that this lady is clearly exhibiting a pattern of this behavior. And not just being racist by accusing random Latino men she's never met of being illegal, but also claiming an affiliation to the police department to try and intimidate her victims. This lady is, as suspected, a total nightmare. And as it turns out, this was really the straw that broke the camel's back, it seems, because I don't know if what happens next would have happened at all if the second video hadn't surfaced. That Wednesday, just 2 days after the second video went viral on Enamorado's TikTok, The Santa Barbara District Attorney's Office finally filed charges, announced by DA John Savernock against Jean Umana. One count was for misdemeanor trespassing, the other for misdemeanor battery. Her arraignment was scheduled for November 30th. Only November 30th came, it's pretty recent, as you might have noticed, and instead of an arraignment, we got this. Umana opted not to show up that day at all, instead sending her defense attorney, Michael Barmas, to ask for an extension. Also present at the arraignment, you may have guessed, was Alex Inamorado, who decided to confront the lawyer on his way across the street. Though I couldn't find a recording of the confrontation on his TikTok page, sadly, because that would have been very juicy, The Root reported that he shouted, "Just know that you're defending a bigot and a racist. That's what you're doing out here, asking for a slap on the wrist for a racist." I would point out to Mr. Inamorado, however, that it is a lawyer's job to advocate for their client and to advocate for the best deal that they can get them, and that everyone does deserve a lawyer no matter how bad they are. People have yelled at lawyers for defending the people they do since the dawn of lawyers, of course. Especially the lawyers of the worst killers and perverts in our history, but it's also an important part of the justice system that everyone get their day in court and everyone get their case defended by an actual professional. You might disagree at first thought, but think about what a justice system would look like without it. Anyway, that aside, soapbox gone. Her arraignment has been rescheduled for after the new year on January 3rd. We will, of course, let you know what happens, but that will probably require a whole video of its own to cover all the courtroom drama that comes out of it. So far, though, things are not looking good for Jean Umana. But what do you think? Was Umana really a racist, or was she just having a bad day? Well, actually, two totally separate bad days. Did Mr. Inamorado do his civic duty in planning this big protest and confronting her, or did he take the whole thing too far? Was coming after the lawyer fair game, or should we discourage such things as a society? Share your thoughts, feelings, and concerns in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed our first reckoning back in a while. I promise there are many, many more stories to come. Thanks for watching. See ya.